Baker Mayfield is playing hot. He's playing well right now for the Buccaneers. Big time win against the Los Angeles Chargers, 40-17 this past week. He was 22 for 27, including 8 for 8 in the second half, 288 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. And this past week, he had one big-time throw. He had 2 turnover-worthy plays here in this game. Man, this Buccaneers offense is humming. What'd you think about Baker Mayfield? Obviously, it's a lot of points to be putting up. I didn't think they put up that many points against a Los Angeles defense, especially with them going on the road all the way across the country. But it was a great performance by them. Big performance by Mike Evans, who is obviously in pursuit of that 1,000-yard season still after missing some time. What'd you think about Mayfield? Because a lot of people look at Mayfield and they look at Liam Cohen as well, their offensive coordinator, kind of that chemistry that they have right now. So what do you think about Mayfield?
I'm a fan right now, and I think my overall point here with Mayfield is going to be he had great seasons or like good to great seasons with 4 different OCs now. You have Freddie Kitchens right away, rookie year. Then you have Stefanski. Then you have Dave Canales, and now you have Liam Cohen. And I'm just like, all right, at some point, we have to say like some of it is on him. Like, I know we were so easy to say Stefanski is great, Dave Canales got a job out of it, Liam Cohen's gonna get a job out of it, like, and they've been great. Like, it's not to say that those guys aren't great, but at the same time, like, there is a constant factor here, and that constant is Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying he's the top 10 quarterback, no, but he doesn't fluctuate between the 11th ranked quarterback in the league and the 12th ranked quarterback in the league. And that's fine. Like, that's good. Like, you can win games that way. You can win games that way, especially with the fact that now they have a real run game, which is super exciting, I think, for them. To have a run game, to find the running back that has great vision, can break tackles, can make guys miss in space. But I really think his patience and his vision with Bucky Irving is his best trait. And then your O-line is not awful. And I was telling this to someone the other day, but when you look at this offensive line that could not run the ball for like 2 straight seasons in 22 and 23, PFF has talked about this a lot. But I'm using PFF as a monolith, as if we're not like 1,000 different people. But PFF has said this, like, your O-line is only as good as your weakest unit, right? It's a weak links type of unit situation. You have Tristan Wirfs this whole time. He is an elite player. He is arguably one of the best tackles in the game at either side, right? We saw him play on one side. He gets flipped to the other side. He's still an elite player. Did that matter? Not one bit in terms of their run game, in terms of their pass pro. So what's happened is you go get, Gedeke has been above average, solid for 2 years. You draft Cody Mock. He's awful as a rookie. He's not awful anymore. Solid player. You draft Graham Barton. That upgrades your center. He's average at least, which is fine. You go get Ben Bredesen. He's average at least. That's fine. And all of a sudden, and then you go and get probably a better pure running back in Bucky Irving than Rachaad White. I mean, not probably, he is. White has his strengths, but it's probably not as a guy who takes handoffs. And so you get in the situation where it's like, oh, all of a sudden we don't have the worst. Like, we have the best tackle, but we have 4 other spots that are useless.
Yeah,
we don't have that anymore. There's not big holes on the offensive line, and they've been really great. And it's really fun to see. And I think with Baker specifically, he's making plays outside the pocket. He's making plays under pressure. He goes through peaks and valleys when it comes to that type of play, like the play outside of structure. When he's hitting on those plays, they're a great offense. The issue is going to be, does he try and make those plays more than he should? And then you get the valley, and now we have a problem in the playoffs. But if he's making those plays in the playoffs, I mean, the sky really is the limit for this offense. And the defense has played really good the last 4 weeks as well. So it's exciting times in Tampa Bay, I think.
Baker just seems to be making a lot of plays, and you and I were chatting a little bit about this before we hit record, but like with his legs, and it's not something that It doesn't always go well for him. Sometimes I think that Baker maybe thinks he's a little bit more athletic than he actually is, but certainly that escapability, that mobility to get outside the tackles matters a lot for him. And that's been an area where he's really played well, in my opinion. And again, it's not perfect because it's not like the PFF grades on the run or under pressure, or even in normal situations, are through the roof, but they are much more stable. They are much better, and they are giving him a chance to, his team, I should say, a chance to win every single week. And the production that you saw to Mike Evans, I think, was very needed. When Chris Godwin goes down, obviously Mike Evans goes down with him, but specifically when Chris Godwin goes down with an injury where you know he's not going to come back, that's a dire thing. I mean, your offense is built around those two guys, and when those two players were out, Cade Otton was still able to step up. Sterling Shepard was able to step up. Now we're seeing Jalen McMillan be able to step up. So it's sort of been these unsung heroes, and I think that you did a great job bringing up sort of Baker Mayfield's journey really over the last couple of years and all the different teams and offensive coordinators. But even in a smaller time frame here, just this year, I mean, you're planning on throwing to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, two all-pro wide receivers. Both of them go down, and you're still able to have a productive offense. To me, that speaks again to the confidence that Baker Mayfield has with his players. And the chemistry that he has with Liam Cohen. And I do agree with you 100%. The run game being a reliable part of this offense cannot be understated. I just talked about this with Ollie Conley when we were talking about the In the Trenches show, and we were highlighting the Buccaneers offensive line there as well. But it is night and day different, the run game for Tampa Bay last year compared to this year. And I think that they were really sort of trying to figure out what their identity was like with Dave Canales as the offensive coordinator and the play caller last year, with Baker it being his first year in Tampa, still figuring things out within the offensive line. Obviously, Bucky Irving was not there yet. And it's a much better version of the offense, and Cohen's got this thing humming with Mayfield. Now, he still gets in a little bit of trouble, right, when it comes to some of the decisions that he makes, but that's sort of the quarterback that you just got to live with. Like, that is just Baker Mayfield. That's sort of who he is as a quarterback. And so, independent of the run game and the offense really helping him out, just overall, what the Bucs have been able to do with Liam Cohen and himself, what have you seen from Baker? Is this the best version of Baker Mayfield? Statistically and PFF grade-wise, I think there's 1 year in Cleveland where he was still better, had a little bit better output, had a little bit higher PFF passing grades, but man, he's just playing with so much confidence right now.
Probably. I mean, I loved him in his rookie year when he was playing without a conscience in that rookie year like that, which is a long time ago at that point. But at this point, yeah, I think one of the things that I will say, he's great. Probably the best he's ever played. And I think that one of the differences between Canales and Liam Cohen, and it's not really Canales' fault, is like because they didn't have a run game last year, there was so many quick throws, like quick game concepts, not necessarily like quick throws, but quick game concepts. So it's like slants and quick outs and stuff that was like over the ball, like quick stuff over the ball. Because they have a run game, because they didn't have a run game, right? They just like that was their run game. And it was like that in the last Brady year as well. And so because they have a run game now you have play action. Now you have deeper drop backs. Now you can protect for longer because you're not getting beat on the interior, center guard, like they were last year. So they can hit the ball in these like kind of chunky parts over the middle of the field. When you get one-on-ones, you have Mike Evans, one of the best one-on-one players in the league still. And then when you get too high, which has generally been, Mike Evans' kind of kryptonite to a certain degree, he's been throwing the ball unbelievably well in that like 10 to 15 yard range over the linebackers in front of the safeties. When you get too high, it's been great to watch. So I'm a fan. I think there seems like also like just like from an outside perspective, like looking in, like he seems like a good dude. Like people seem to like playing for him or playing with him, Baker Mayfield, that is. So again, I think there's a chance that this team goes on a run. I think it probably more depends on the defense that, like I said, has played well the last 4 weeks. Not the greatest offenses, other than probably the Chargers has been the best one they played in that time frame. But it's been good. And I was ready to put the knife in Todd Bowles' back because they weren't really that good for most of the season, but they've been good the last 4 weeks. So who knows if that's sticky and that'll continue.
I tweeted this out in a little bit more colorful language than this, but when this Buccaneers team in particular is winning, they are so much fun to watch. I mean, it's such an easy group to root for. Baker Mayfield is such an easy quarterback to root for. So I agree with you. I mean, when things are going well, I mean, the vibes are extremely high with a guy like Mayfield. The fans love him. I think the front office and the coaching staff love him. The players love him. And it just it's sort of the rally around him type of a mentality. And so it feels like perfect case scenario right now with the Buccaneers. It's a little dangerous because they've dropped 2 games to the Atlanta Falcons, so they lose the tiebreaker no matter what. So if the Falcons tie them in any way, shape, or form when it comes to the record, they will get the division over the Buccaneers, but they do have a 1-game lead there. Just looking it up right now, it's no coincidence that the years in which Baker Mayfield also had some of his highest rushing grades, he also had some of his highest passing grades, because that is sort of who he is as a quarterback. It's who he was when he was at Oklahoma, and it's been when he has been at his best at the NFL level. So the touchdown to the big time throw to turnover worthy play ratio this year compared to last year, so it was a little bit better last year, and it was a little bit better in those first 2 years in Cleveland. But this is actually the year where he has the highest quarterback rating. So making really good decisions, and obviously we're seeing great output like we saw in that Chargers game. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below. So if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.